Welcome to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. I'm Jen Gaudet, your fearless host, investor, entrepreneur, and business coach. Why are we here? Because I believe that iron sharpens iron. And when we come together with successful entrepreneurs and investors, and we share what's working in business, and maybe even some of what's not, what happens is we all learn and grow, and together we're able to elevate our businesses. The ripple of that impacts not only ourselves and our families, our teams and their families, but also our communities and our world. I'm really excited to be here today. I am in studio with a fellow entrepreneur and photographer extraordinaire, founder of her own photography business, Tara Flannery. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Jen. It's so great to be here.
And so, Tara, photography has been something you've done for quite some time. Talk to me a little bit about how is it to be an entrepreneur in this space, and how has that evolved over time?
So I will tell you, the photography industry is very competitive. I started about 12 years ago. I started photographing anything and everything. If somebody would pay me to do a job, I would do it. I figured it out along the way. I don't have any formal training in photography. I'm pretty much self-taught. There is an enormous amount of resources out there for photographers and people interested in photography to really learn and educate themselves in the industry. So that's what I did.
So the school of hard knocks, the school of real life, figuring it out along the way, you know, that's really and truly a lot of what we do as entrepreneurs as well, because while we can get an MBA or we can learn the academic side of things, by the time we learn it in a book, it's already evolved in the business world. And so it's very similar for us. And so how has photography evolved over the years? Because 12 years is a long time. Technology has changed. What have you seen in the industry?
Absolutely. So I never was a film photographer. My dad was. And so there's definitely that. We moved from film to digital. We moved from processing in a dark room to Photoshop. I've been using Photoshop as a tool for all these 12 years and even longer. And you just have to stay on top of that technology, learn the tools, use them, and just consistently train yourself on those tools.
So talk to me. You've been doing this for a long time, and one of the things that I know you do is branding photography for businesses. And over the years, what does headshots don't look today the same as they did, 10 years ago. I remember when it was stare straight, like a mug shot almost back in the day. So talk to me about how that has evolved from an aesthetic standpoint, and personal branding and business branding has become such a big part of business, especially in the last several years. How has that evolved in your branding photography?
So branding sessions are extremely popular right now. So we've moved from that static headshot, which is still important for profile photos, business cards, things like that. That's definitely a tool that we still need. But moving into a branding session means we are showing clients and customers what it looks like to work with us. So we're in our own space. We're doing things in the business that shows potential customers exactly what it looks like to work with us. And, I think they feel more confident in, kind of knowing us before we even meet them, before they step through the door, even if that's a virtual door.
And one of the reasons that I brought you on is because one of the things I've noticed about your portfolio in particular, and I know some of the people who you've done the photos for, I've watched you, I've seen the work, is somehow you managed to capture the personality of the person you're photographing, whether it's senior portraits or like family photos or branding photos. You seem to capture the personality, if you will, and that's so important in business as well. We want to kind of have a feel for what we're getting, and that image speaks 1,000 words. So how are you able to find that? Talk to us about the behind the scenes sneak peek. How do you find that personality, and what do you do before and during your session that brings that out, because you capture their essence, like the essence of who they are so well?
Thank you. So most people don't like to have their photo taken. A lot of people are really anxious and really nervous before their session. I just try to meet them where they are. It's really important for me to listen and to just be there to understand where they are, understand their business, and just really set them at ease. I'm goofy. I'm a real person, so I hope that they see that. And as we talk, as we get to know each other, those first few photos may be, a little bit more tense, but as we go along through the session, people just start to relax and they feel more comfortable with me, with the whole process. And I think that comfort is what lets their personality really shine through. So.
That's fantastic. And, it's something that's so important is we have to be relaxed in video, too. It's just like in the studio. Like we were
Right.
talking about, okay, there's so many things that go on behind the scenes.
Right.
So, how did you develop that skill set? Like, what does that feel like as an internal growth? Was there something that changed in you that helped you to relax your clients in a way that they're able to relate? Is that, talk to me about that inner side of the growth in your development.
So probably when I first started out, I would be nervous before sessions, and, that probably made me a little bit more reserved. So I think the more confident that I am in my processes, that has allowed me to put them at ease more. If I'm confident, I know what I'm doing. I know lighting and posing and all those things that go together to make that image. I'm able to just kind of welcome them into that space and kind of put them at ease a little bit too.
That's so fantastic. And while we're on the topic of your learning and your growth, we're all learning and growing in business right now because business is evolving more rapidly than ever before. It is really changing. Technology is changing faster than ever before. Has anything kind of really hit you by surprise in business, and especially as we've experienced so many changes in the last couple of years?
Yeah, so I think where you're going is AI technology. That is coming. I mean, it's already here. And I think that will definitely change the way that we operate as photographers, any digital media, really. Right now it's going to be the tools that we're using. We're going to incorporate AI into that. I'm sure everybody has seen the AI headshots. I had a friend that had one that came out with 3 arms, and so that's not good. But there has to be a fair amount of good imagery that comes in to put into AI. AI can't create something that's never been there, right? Yep. So AI is not going to create product photos that have never been created. So there's still a need for professional photography, and we're just going to use AI to our best advantage to help things run more efficiently, things like that.
Right, and that's with anything, with AI, it's garbage in, garbage out. So if you don't have quality images going in, then it can only work with what is given. So talk to me about how that's evolving. Are you looking differently at lighting? Are you looking differently as you move through this learning process, knowing that that's on the other side and maybe helping you facilitate with your edits or whatnot? Or are we playing with different backgrounds or settings? Like, what does that look like as a photographer? I really love the sneak peek behind the scenes, by the way.
Yes. So I think that lighting is probably going to be the same. And, lighting is something that sets professional photography apart, I think. You can take selfies with your cell phone, but the lighting is not there, maybe. So I think the lighting is going to stay the same. I think what we're going to see is the change in the tools. So Photoshop is already incorporating some AI technology so that, if you have a headshot and you want to put that person in a scene, for example, it's going to be easier with AI. They already have it in a beta version, and so down the line it's going to be easier to kind of insert those virtual backgrounds or scenes. So we're just going to use that AI technology in the tools.
And so as you're learning and you're adapting, one of the things we were talking about before the show was how important education is and always learning, growing, and staying ahead of the curve in any industry. It's like this in any industry. And so what are you doing so that you're ensuring you're always ahead of the curve? Because it seems that you're integrating, you're already playing with some of the things that are newer out there. How do you keep yourself ahead of the game and the trends that are coming, like riding the trends, sorting and sifting between what's the garbage and what's actually going to move forward?
Right. So education is so important. There are several photographers that I follow, so there's resources online for sure. But I'm also part of my national, state, and local photography organizations. The Professional Photographers of America puts on an annual conference. So, be part of those trade and industry organizations because they're going to provide the education. With PPA, go to the conference, you select instructors, that you want to learn from, and that's how you keep that education up. The state organization is Texas PPA. There's a week-long conference, and you deep dive with one instructor. You learn everything about their processes, how they operate, their kids' names and their favorite ice cream flavor by the end of the week. So you really get, just really hands-on and a deep dive into that photographer.
What comes to mind so strongly is there's always a learning, there's always a growing, and implementation is everything. So how do you take that? And I think this is very valuable for everybody listening at home, no matter what industry you're in. There's knowledge and there's education and then there's implementation. So how do you understand, or how do you take in the education and then you say, okay, this is the most important thing for me to do here, then this next, then this next? How do you prioritize in that way? And what would you recommend to the people who are listening if they're getting photography or other industry, if they're getting knowledge, they're learning, how do they sort of decide what makes the most sense to implement first?
Right. So the conference that I was just talking about, the week-long conference, all this education is great, but if you don't implement it, why did you pay to even go?
That's right.
So you have to make your list, make your list of takeaways and then prioritize them just to make sure, you can't tackle 10 things all at once. You've got to prioritize and identify what is most important, do that, and just work down your list. I just think you have to do that.
Yeah, something that we do with our prioritization is always look at it and I say, what one thing, if I do that first, makes everything else easier, or it kind of waterfalls. So I love that you've kind of brought that up because it is so true. Like we take in, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of changes in business. Which trends do we hop on? AI is coming. We can't avoid it. It's going to be here. Right. It's going to impact our business. So what AI, how do we integrate, and what's going to be make the most sense for our business, for our industry, and as we move forward. So I really love that you take that approach. And so if you were to give someone who's thinking about jumping into entrepreneurship today, because you've been in it for a while and you've seen all these changes, if somebody is watching and they're like, you know what, I think I want to start a business today, and they haven't dipped their toe in yet, what would you share with them as something that they ought to do before they get started?
Just hook up with another entrepreneur. Join your local chamber. Join an organization that has entrepreneurs that you can, it doesn't matter if they're in your industry or in a different industry, just watch and observe and, figure out kind of what's working, what's not, and then dive into your industry-specific organizations and, find a mentor. Our local photography guild has a mentorship program, and we love to connect seasoned photographers, those that have been in the business for 20, 30, 40 years, with newer photographers, because, you can learn all this stuff on your own, but it's so much easier if you have someone to guide you and even just ask those basic questions of, how do I set up an LLC? How do I, do this or that or whatever.
Absolutely. And, I'm a business coach, and the same applies. I have coaches because they cut the time. Yes. Like, why are we going to reinvent the wheel and do all the things and make all the same mistakes? We might as well hire somebody who's already there, who's already been there, who's ahead of us, that can cut the time to our success, because why should we go and make all the same mistakes? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Great. Awesome. And so kind of in the same vein, I want to talk a little bit about what you have experienced and you've learned along the way. And if you could go back to the version of you who was just starting out, I mean, the Tara who was like, okay, I'm going to do this for myself, I'm going to go into business for myself, and give her one piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh gosh, just to value myself. We all start somewhere, and pricing is a difficult thing to figure out, but I wish that I had just valued myself and, believed in myself a little bit more, You can't start out at the bottom and rise to the very top. You have to value your time. You have to figure out what your cost of doing business is, and really put in the hard work to build your pricing and all that kind of thing.
Absolutely. So value yourself. I think that's amazing. Believe in yourself, and don't let anybody else get in your way. Something that we like to talk about is we're not in competition with anybody other than ourselves.
That's right.
And so, if we are focused on us and where do we fit in the marketplace, and we find the gaps in the marketplace, then we can kind of control that piece of the market. And so that gets me to, your unique value propositions. We said this earlier. You're in a very, very crowded market. And so as you are moving through and you're changing, you're evolving as a business owner, how have you established your differentiating factor? Because setting that unique selling proposition, having that differentiation, solving a unique problem that your competition is not, is what differentiates you and it gets you noticed. So how do you actually determine what is your differentiating factor, and how do you stay relevant and serving in that way?
So I feel like I've distinguished myself from some of the competition just by certifications and things that I've been awarded. I just found out that I have earned enough merits for my Master of Photography certification through PPA. So
congratulations, that's awesome.
Thank you. I've been working on it for several years. So I think that is one way to separate yourself, is to that continuing education, certifications, awards, and things like that.
And being an expert in your space. Like, let's be real. If you are a master level, you're elevated above a lot of others. You become that expert and that authority in your space.
Right. And then beyond that, like you said, I feel like, we're in business to solve customers' problems. Mm-hmm. So it's really about finding out what that customer's problem is, and then serving that need. So, whether it's headshots or branding, family portraits, high school seniors, we're just meeting the customers where they are and fulfilling that need. And it's small businesses through, very large corporations need, all that imagery because of our digital age. So there's just a constant need for images.
So talk to me about that, because I've been in business and I've been in careers for a very, very long time. And once upon a time, you could get a headshot and use it for like 10, 15 years in the age before social media. Yes, I'm dating myself, but what is it that we have to be considering as entrepreneurs from an image standpoint? How often should we update our brand image or our profile image or the professional headshot versus the lifestyle headshot? Like, is there kind of a formula or a secret to success there?
It's funny. Doctors are really bad about using a headshot that's 30 years old, and they walk into a patient's room and the patient's very surprised about who they're seeing. So definitely every couple of years I would update that headshot just to make sure it's current and, you're being truthful with your clientele. And before you could get away with just a headshot and that could be it. But with social media and just all of the needs today of, putting your image out there, social media is just eating up those images. And I think we're moving away from stock imagery. People can identify a stock image, pretty well these days. And let's move towards more authenticity and do that branding session so that it's your products that we're showing. It's your staff. It's your people on your website, on your social media that are showing those behind the scenes and, what's happening in your company.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree more. And even the video, like in this age, video is so incredibly important. Over 65% of all sales come from video content. So if we're not putting ourselves out there, if we don't have at least our photograph out there, people are just like, nope, sorry, I don't know who is behind this company brand. I'm not interested, especially right. In small business. But then, also getting comfortable with the video content and some of the other things is so incredibly important. And so if we have, and I'm just going to say, I've gone to conferences where I've known people in the social media, like the LinkedIn bubble. And when I go, I don't recognize them because I don't know when it was taken or it was so heavily doctored of an image that you
Right.
cannot actually recognize the person. Can you speak a little bit about that? Because that happens also when you take professional photography.
Yeah.
So should we be dolling ourselves up as should we be doing something different when we go to brand photography, or should we be showing up with the exact same kind of hair, makeup, et cetera, that we would do, if we were to do a presentation in a boardroom, for example?
Yeah, that's a great point. So one of my taglines is, the very best you is what I do. And the idea there is, I want you to look like you on your very best, well-rested, well-hydrated day. So we're going to do hair and makeup, but we're not going to go crazy. And we're going to do a little bit of Photoshop to, maybe smooth some things out, brighten teeth and eyes. But we're not going to go crazy, and we're not going to look like somebody else, right? That Brad Pitt filter is just not available anymore. So I really, I want you to look like you, because that is authentic. To me, authenticity is our greatest goal in photography. So, I want you to look like you. I don't want you to look like a plastic, Barbie doll version of you. So that's always my goal.
And like what you started on with the AI imagery, like a lot of the avatars are very, very kind of extra polished, I'm going to just say, and they don't necessarily look the same as
Right.
what we do in real life. And that's really important because it goes to building trust, right?
Yes.
Online, we want to be building trust. We want to be showing up. And so that when we show up at the meeting or whatever, in person or on the Zoom even, we want to make sure that we're looking like we do online for that continuity of brand. So that's
Right.
really fascinating and so important. Thank you for sharing that. We do have to take a brief break, but we'll be back after these messages, and you're going to want to stick around because Tara is going to give us a lesson in how to pose to look your best for your next headshots. See you in a few.
According to the FBI, a robbery occurs every 13 seconds. Homes and businesses without a reliable security system are 300% more likely to be burglarized. Alert 360 provides custom-tailored rock-solid security solutions to residential and commercial customers. Whether it's home security, fire and carbon monoxide detection, flood protection, connected senior care, managed video surveillance solutions, 24/7 alarm monitoring, and life safety, Alert 360 is your ideal solution. In addition, Alert 360 has a smart home and business integrations like access control and video shield for a complete peace of mind, protecting what matters the most and reducing energy costs with our top-of-the-line automatic scheduling functions. Alert 360 offers security services discounts to military personnel, veterans, first responders, educators, and hospital personnel. Don't be a victim. Take a strong step today. Call Rosana Torres at 832-863-8574 for your free consultation.
Hey, Lily says AT&T is giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Hello, my name is Charles Sanders, and I'm a personal injury attorney with the Rose Sanders Law Firm, based in Texas and with offices in Houston, Dallas, McAllen, and El Paso. We assist individuals throughout the entire state who have suffered harm due to the negligence of another person. With my experience as an insurance adjuster, I understand and I know exactly how to counter the strategies employed by insurance companies, and I'm bringing this knowledge to you. We handle a wide variety of situations ranging from car accidents to defamation and unsafe property conditions. We are here to provide support and legal representation at no cost to you. Call us today at 713-221-3773.
The tax and bookkeeping team is key to any successful business. At Gunderson's Bookkeeping, our passion is to help small business owners grow, be profitable, and to prosper. We specialize in supporting small to mid-sized business owners who want to hire a full-time or even a part-time bookkeeper, but just do not have the funds. In addition, we free business owners from the tedious tasks of bookkeeping and help them focus on their business operations, their growth, and profitability. Gunderson's Bookkeeping is your business solutions partner offering a broad range of services to meet the needs of our clients. A profitable business needs accurate and reliable books, so take a strong step and call us today for your personal, no-risk consultation.
Hey, are you a small business owner that's struggling to double or triple your revenue and profits? My name is Michael Rager. I'm your business guide with Teach Your Business to Fish. Our success operating system will help you double or triple your profits every 2 to 3 years while actually maintaining some semblance of a home life. Call us at 713-201-5559 and we'll help you become a real success.
The best bilingual news, business talk, and technology content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are watching Now Media Television, the first bilingual media network in the United States.
¿Quieres tener el mejor recuerdo de bodas, original, exclusivo y fuera de lo común? Entra a www.larevistadetuboda.mx o visítanos en nuestra página de Instagram o Facebook. Descubre todo lo que puede quedar plasmado en el recuerdo que siempre soñaste. Reportajes, entrevistas, un diseño personalizado, sesiones fotográficas y mucho más. Solo en la revista de tu boda.
En esta era digital, las tarjetas de presentación de negocio son cosa del pasado. De hecho, la mayoría de las personas que las reciben las pierden en cuestión de minutos. La videotarjeta de negocios de Now Media es un video de su negocio especialmente creado por nuestros expertos con toda su información de contacto, los productos y servicios de su negocio y puede ser enviado de manera rápida utilizando su teléfono móvil. Cientos de negocios ya están viendo la diferencia. Llámenos hoy al 832-384-9588.
Welcome back to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. If you're just joining us, you're going to want to go to nowmedia.tv and select Power CEOs, the show, and catch the first part of the segment because we've been talking a lot about how are things happening, how to pick the right trend, how to implement the right technology that's going to move your business forward, the importance of continuing your education and establishing yourself as an expert and an authority in your space so that you have that extra differentiating factor in the crowded marketplace, and so much more. But definitely, if you're just tuning in, you're going to want to catch that. We are here in studio with Tara Flannery. She is an amazing photographer and entrepreneur. And before the break, I gave you a teaser and said we were going to give you some posing tips and some things that could help your next photo session for your business really get a little bit of pizzazz and look like your best self. So Tara, I'm really excited to have you back here in studio, and I'm going to send it all over to you. I'm going to go step over there and let you have the full Monty as you show us how do we make ourselves look the best in our photography session.
Thank you, Jen. So most people that come to me are not models. So if you're a regular person, like 99.9% of people that come to me you don't know how to pose, and that really is the responsibility of your photographer. So don't feel like I don't know what to do. That is the job of the photographer. So we want to look our best. We want to look the best we possibly can, our most well-rested self. So when you're posing, and I'm going to do women first, our widest angle is going to be straight forward, right? So we're going to want to slim that down. The way to do that is to turn, and it doesn't matter, the younger generation has a side. They like, they know what side is best. So it doesn't matter. Turn to a side, and that slims automatically. And then you're going to want to push your weight to your back foot. So it doesn't matter which foot is back, but you're going to push your booty back. And that front leg is automatically going to have a little bend to it. So if you're this way, you're going to push back, and this front leg bends. If you're this way, you push back, and this leg bends. Automatically, also, this front shoulder is going to dip just a little bit. And that's great because we're engaging with the camera. So that's a good thing. So same thing on this side, and you're dipping forward and you're engaging with the camera. Another great tip, Jen, is, a lot of people are concerned about the chin area. So if I do this, I have 17 chins. But if I turn and push my chin just a little bit towards the camera, it lengthens this, and it's a better aesthetic. So we don't want to push it too far and strain. But, just a little push towards the camera, and make sure you're going out and down with that chin. So, and I always like for headshots for the chin to be straight forward rather than a turn. We don't meet somebody, with the side of our face. We meet somebody straight on, we lean in, we stick our hand out and shake a hand for a greeting. And that's essentially what we're doing with a headshot, is doing that very thing.
And so if you have multiple people in the headshot, what does that look like?
So we're all going to do that. We're all going to turn.
I'm going to come in here and practice with you.
Right. So this is wide, and then this is slim. And then we're going to push our booty back, and this front knee bent, and then this shoulder automatically went down. Yeah.
And so is it better when we have a team for us to be leaning like this, for us to be facing the other way? What is the going trend, and how do we make that decision as business owners when we're working with our team?
Yeah, so it really depends on how many people you have. So 2 people, especially 2 people that aren't married, is probably the most difficult pose. So I would, if it's just 2 people, have someone sitting and someone standing so that there's a little bit of height dynamic. That's really important. We don't want heads all on the same level if we can at all avoid it. Odd numbers are always easier. So 3s and 5s and 7s are easier to pose. So it just kind of depends on the numbers.
Okay, fantastic. So we gave the ladies something. What about the gentlemen? Because, that also has changed over time, and there's a lot of different ways that men want to appear in their photos. So show us what men want to do, or what could allow them to show their best self. And I'm going to go back out of the screen.
Gotcha. So with men, the same is really true, right? We are still widest men, straightforward. And so some men can get away with a straightforward headshot, but for the most part, I still want to turn those shoulders. And, for a straight headshot, I'm going to ask men to just put their arms straight down, because that's going to straighten out this jacket. If they've got a jacket, even if they've got a polo or a button-down shirt, that's going to straighten this out and make it look a lot nicer. So I'm still going to, turn shoulders. If we're doing like a 3/4 length shot for a branding session, I might have, hands in pockets. We might do an arm cross. If we're seated for men, I hope you can see this. I could use a stool for a man, who could kind of lean forward, put a little hand up like that. There's just some manly type poses that we can use that are different from women, but still want to look their best.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, thank you for that little lesson there. We'll get you situated right back. And so we've done a little bit of a session on how do we pose, how do we look our best for the camera, what does that look like? Let's go out of the headshot sound, out of the world of photography, and talk to me about your energy level, because it's really important that you are on your game and you are energetically up for the game, because your clients might be apprehensive, they might be high anxiety, and you need to be able to bring them down, or they may be real low energy because they're a turtle and they get into that fear mode, and so you need to bring them out of the shell so that they're lively. How do you manage your energy as an entrepreneur, as a photographer, such you can bring that to your session?
So I am energized by people. So when I meet my client, I think I'm automatically kind of a little energized, because there's that person-to-person contact, connection. Connection is really important, and I like to meet people where they are. So the people that are already high energy, I try to meet them where they are. And the people that are low energy, I meet them where they are and, welcome them into the space and just incorporate them. It's really, really important for me to meet them where they are. So, personally, I have, quiet days and then I have up days. I have, no people days that I call them, where I don't have any meetings or anything like that. And so, I just sit behind my desk and do work. And then there are other days where I've got sessions and consultations and things like that where I need to be up and, ready to go. So, fortunately in my business, there's both, up and down. So I feed off of other people's energy.
Okay, that's fantastic. And so now we're going to talk about when you have a string of days, because we're entrepreneurs, we all have this. When you have a string of days that are just not going well, and you wake up and you're like, you've got client sessions and you're client facing, and you don't want to get out of bed in the morning because you're like, man, can I just not get out of the covers? I cannot adult today. Business has been really challenging, and you need to snap out of it and put that happy face on and be there for them. How do you do that? What is the habit or your go-to to get you out of that funk and into action?
Yeah, I think it's really important to just step out of the business sometimes. Sometimes you just need a moment to not do business. So whether that's a walk or, some sort of exercise is really great for me because, I just have to not focus on it for a little bit. And that will kind of reset, and allow me to get back into it and then just tackle it.
I love it. I use physiology to change my psychology all the time too. And if I'm having a really rough time, it's so much better for me to go work out some energy. I'll lift weights. I'll just. And the other side of it is sometimes we wake up and we're high stress, high anxiety because we have a lot of things to do, and we look at our calendar and it's super booked. And the immediate thing that our brain does is say, wait a minute, how the heck am I going to get this done today, right? And so we need to bring it down. So what do you do when you wake up and you're kind of a little in that anxious, stressed out state, and you need to bring it down because you're client facing?
I'm always sort of an organized freak, so I just make lists. So if I'm really stressed out and I have a lot to do, I have to make a list because if it's on paper and I've got a little checkbox, then I feel like I can tackle it. And, I'm not as afraid of forgetting something. That brings me anxiety too, if I'm afraid that I might forget this piece. So if I write it down, I know, okay, that's there. It's going to be taken care of, but I need to kind of step through and just work through my list. So for me, just being organized, knowing what I have to do, when I have to do it, when I have to be somewhere, and just being super organized is the way that I get through that.
Awesome. I absolutely like it. I am not organized. I am the definition of organized chaos. I need to have stuff because I'm so ADD, and if I don't have a lot of things to juggle, I feel stress. Yeah. And so I'm a little bit different there, so I really like your take on that. And now I want to ask you something else, because earlier today we talked about the importance of having the right people, having entrepreneurs around you. Mm-hmm. If you're going to jump into entrepreneurship, or even if you're getting to the next level in entrepreneurship, in order to grow your business, sometimes the entrepreneurs that we surround ourselves with are not growing at the same pace, and it can hold us back. Mm-hmm. So talk to me about finding the right group of entrepreneurs, both in your industry and outside of your industry, so that you can continue to grow, that are going to support you and push you instead of holding you back. How do you find that within your industry first? Because a lot of people are scarcity mindset and they feel like they're in competition, even though there's more than enough business to go around. So talk to me about that in industry. How do you find that right group? And if how do you know if you need to advance from that group? And then also in a wider sense.
Yeah, that's so true in photography. There are many photographer groups. And there are some that are competitive minded, and you just have to try them, unfortunately. I mean, I don't know any better way, but you'll know when you get there, and you feel that competitiveness. My photography guild in Houston is such a supportive group. We build each other up. We're there for each other. It's not competition. Like you said, there is enough work for everybody to go around. If everybody in Houston needs a headshot, like I can't service everyone in Houston. I'd like to.
Wait,
but
you can't?
I cannot. No. So I'm going to call on my friends in my guild and say, look, I can't do this, but here's this referral. So, I think I learned from you that there are these levels of, business ownership and success. And I think you can kind of feel that, when you're not in the right place, you kind of can feel that. And so you shouldn't be afraid to step out and find out what's next and find that next group of entrepreneurs and just other business owners that will help take you to that next level.
And so you said you can kind of feel it. Can you go into detail? Like, what do you feel? Because so many people, they don't recognize it. They know something's not right. Maybe it's resentment. Maybe it's like they just don't want to go. Like, what does it feel like when you're in the wrong room?
Competition, Facebook is brutal. It is brutal, because you'll see other business owners maybe and, what they're doing and the competition that they are fostering. That's to me where I feel it. And it's just not a good feeling. It's much better to feel supported and seen and, just like you feel like you're in the right place.
Got it. And so one of the hardest things that entrepreneurs have, and this is across the board, and we see that as business coaches as well, is business owners, entrepreneurs don't want anybody to know that they don't know everything and have everything together. Newsflash, none of us do.
Right.
We're always learning. We're always growing. No one on planet Earth has everything together. It just doesn't work that way.
Right.
But asking for support is very challenging. So how do you overcome the challenge and the hurdle of, what if they don't think I know what I'm doing? Or what if it exposes something? How do you overcome those fears so that you can reach out for the support that you need so that you can actually continue to grow?
I think it's so critical to be honest with yourself, and we all have strengths and weaknesses, and there are things that I don't provide in my business, but I know a photographer who does. So the more clear you can be on what you do and what you do well, that is in itself your strength, right? So just recognizing those things in yourself, I think will allow you to then not only reach out to people to say, hey, I've never done this before, or I'm not an expert in this. And that's how you learn, and that's how you become better. So why wouldn't we want to do that? Reach out, get a hand.
Yeah, I think a lot of times ego gets in the way for a lot of people, and that really, there is no place for ego in business, because business is about relationships, it's about your clients, it's about everything else. And if we're happy where we are, that's one thing. But if we want to get to the next level, we have to be able to go outside and say, hey, look, I really don't know how to get there. If I knew how to get there, I would already be there.
Right.
So that's a clear indication. Like, if you're at home, one of the ways that I've always known I'm not in the right room, or I need to reach out to somebody, is I'm doing all the things and I'm hitting that bump, that roadblock. It's like a glass ceiling. I just can't break through that glass ceiling. And that's a clear indication to me, because I'm doing all the things that are supposed to work, but I'm just not getting to the next level. Obviously, I don't know how to break through to the next level. And so that's one of the things that I noticed too, is when you're spinning wheels, or you feel like you're spinning wheels, you need outside help, because we can't see ourselves objectively. We need to be able to step back. We need somebody who can step back and see our businesses in a way that we maybe do not, because it's our business. We're in it.
And I think it's really important too, for a long time I've been in the photography specific groups. And just recently have started, mingling and being in groups with other entrepreneurs. And so, their processes and ideas may not directly relate to what I'm doing, but I can use something that they are doing, to improve my business. So I think it's really important to, to listen to just other entrepreneurs. And also, business coaching. I mean, business coaches are able to step outside of your little sphere of, we're so focused on our business that it's really helpful for that outside perspective, to realize where you are and where you can go, right?
A lot of times when we are feeling like we can't break through, what we feel is it's either this or that. Like, we feel like in that gets very kind of claustrophobic almost, or brings anxiety. And you know, whether we're going to other entrepreneurs in other fields and listening to what they're doing, it gives us not just, it's either this or that. It's kind of a yes and. Oh, yeah, that works. And what about if we put this into play too? And then it just blows you up a whole lot. So I think that's really very valuable. And so if you're listening to this at home, one of the things that Tara's saying is get outside of your head. Ask for the support you need. Don't be afraid. Whether you're an executive, whether you're an entrepreneur, an investor, if you've kind of hit that wall, if you will, so to speak, and you're doing all the things, you're just not breaking through the next level, it's time to look outside of your industry. It's time to look outside of your circle and find that next level of people. And don't be afraid, because you know it's uncomfortable to go into a room of people we don't know, but sometimes that's exactly what we need. The growth happens in the uncomfortable. So, Tara, you've talked about a whole lot today. We've had a posing lesson. We've learned how to be our best self on camera, because, especially me, I'm not a fan of cameras at all. You might not believe that, but I hate photographs. I hate video. Like, I hate being on camera. But I show up because my message is more important than the fear. And so for those entrepreneurs who are like on the sideline, they're like, I don't really want to get a photo session. Like, I'm not comfortable. How can they move forward?
Yeah. Most of my clients are in that position. They, you know, the first thing they do when they walk in the door is, I hate photos of myself, you know. So just know that you're in good hands. We can help with hair and makeup. We can help with posing. We can help with wardrobe, so that by the time you get to the session, you are completely taken care of. You just have to be there, really, and follow instructions.
There you
go.
So
it's all covered. I will walk through every step of the process with you so that you feel comfortable. You're going to see images. I'm going to help you even select images, you know, because I have an eye. Well, and I have some experience, so you know I've seen a lot of headshots, so I can help you select the one that's gonna be best for you, for your business, and all the uses of that headshot.
Yeah, and Tara, in the beginning when we first started, I shared with the audience that you are actually really amazing at what you do. You capture the personality of the business owner, and you do it in a way that it just looks natural. So if people are looking at getting their next headshots, their branding photographs, how can they reach out to you so that you know they can know that they're taken care of and know that you're going to hold their hand through the process?
The best place to start is at my website, taraflannery.com. Just all the information is out there. You can contact me through the website. My portfolio is out there as well. Blog posts to show recent sessions. So that's the best place to start.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your expertise. I really appreciate you being here. And any last minute action steps, do this today, you won't regret it, that you want to share with the audience?
You know, obviously I'm a little biased, but I think a professional image is so important to, you know, business success, and I would start there.
Fantastic. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
And now you, yes, you, I am talking to you. You have heard all kinds of amazing things. Tara's brought posing tips, practice. If you're not getting out there and doing your videos, think about some of the things she said about how you appear on camera. Practice looking in those ways and doing those posing tips. But get your professional image. Look at your professional images and look across your social media and say, does this authentically represent me as a human being and as my business brand? And if the answer to that is no, your action step today is to go update your professional image, because it might have been a while. It might be time to get to that next level to do that. So if it's been a while, that's your action step. And if not, and you're hearing a lot of the things that she said, she's given great tips for energizing yourself if you're stuck and you're having a rough time. She also gave great tips about finding the right room and surrounding yourself by that next level of entrepreneur, whether it's in your industry or it's outside of your industry, so that community supports you and encourages you to continue to grow. So whatever your action step is today, it's time to take it today, not tomorrow, not next week, but today, because knowledge is a little piece of the equation and the implementation is where the magic happens. So let's commit to taking action today, right now, so that we can create that positive momentum that's going to drive our businesses, our lives forward. And unfortunately, all good things do come to an end, including our show. But we'll be here same time, same station next week. So go win today, win this week, and we'll see you next time.
This has been a Now Media television feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Oye, Lily dice que AT&T le da a todos las mejores ofertas.
Minus the air quotes.
Las mejores ofertas.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Te lo dije, aquí las mejores ofertas son para todos con una variedad de planes.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
En AT&T les damos a todos nuestras mejores ofertas en cada smartphone.
As a home or business owner, it can be tough to find a painting company that you can rely on. Look no further. Hi, I'm Courtney Hughes, owner of 360 Painting West Houston, your go-to painting company for residential and commercial needs. 360 Painting's mission is simple. We want to provide you with the highest quality finish and the best painting experience possible. Our company's residential and commercial painting services are founded on 3 core values. First, quality. We ensure the use of premium paints, high-quality finishes, and proven painting methods. Second, professionalism. We are committed to professional and responsive painting services. We coordinate and plan projects around your schedule and will treat your property with the utmost respect. And lastly, customer service. Your satisfaction is our #1 priority. So before laying a single brushstroke, we will make sure that we understand your vision for your home or office, and we'll do all that we can to paint that vision into reality. We strive to complete every project to your specifications, and we ensure professional, accountable, and reliable service from the first brushstroke to the last. So the next time that you need your home or business painted, give us a call for your free estimate at 713-829-1581.
Hey, this is Michael Rager, the host of Biz Talk TV with Michael Rager. Make sure you join us every day, 5 p.m. Central Time on all Now Media channels and social media platforms.
The best bilingual news, business talk, and technology content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are watching Now Media Television, the first bilingual media network in the United States.
En esta era digital, las tarjetas de presentación de negocio son cosa del pasado. De hecho, la mayoría de las personas que las reciben las pierden en cuestión de minutos. La videotarjeta de negocios de Now Media es un video de su negocio especialmente creado por nuestros expertos con toda su información de contacto, los productos y servicios de su negocio, y puede ser enviado de manera rápida utilizando su teléfono móvil. Cientos de negocios ya están viendo la diferencia. Llámenos hoy al 832-384-9588.
¿Quieres tener el mejor recuerdo de bodas, original, exclusivo y fuera de lo común? Entra a www.larevistadetuboda.mx o visítanos en nuestra página de Instagram o Facebook. Descubre todo lo que puede quedar plasmado en el recuerdo que siempre soñaste. Reportajes, entrevistas, un diseño personalizado, sesiones fotográficas y mucho más. Solo en la revista de tu boda.
Palitos y Bolitas es la catedral de la explicación. Este programa es la única parada que necesitas para entender los porqués y cómo de todo lo que pasa en México y el mundo. Lunes a viernes, 7 p.m. por Heraldo Televisión.
El tema está entre los países. Liderazgo y experiencia. Nuestro país debe meterse en las grandes discusiones y en los grandes debates. Son parte de una carrera exitosa. Se juegan 2 estados. Él es referente en el periodismo. No definen el 2020. 2024. Javier Solórzano te espera cada noche para llevarte las noticias, el análisis y las entrevistas más importantes de lo que sucede día a día en el país.
Este es el referente de la noche.
Tell me, are you looking to sell a house or buy a home? Hi, I'm Michelle Briggs, and your real estate needs are my priority. With over 2 decades worth of experience within the real estate industry, I know I can help. Whether you're selling a house and moving on to the next chapter or buying a home to create generational wealth for your family, I am the realtor for you. Call me now at 713-256-5465 and let me handle all of your real estate needs.
According to the FBI, a robbery occurs every 13 seconds. Homes and businesses without a reliable security system are 300% more likely to be burglarized. Alert 360 provides custom-tailored rock-solid security solutions to residential and commercial customers. Whether it's home security, fire and carbon monoxide detection, flood protection, connected senior care, managed video surveillance solutions, 24/7 alarm monitoring, and life safety, Alert 360 is your ideal solution. In addition, Alert 360 has smart home and business integrations like access control and video shield for a complete peace of mind, protecting what matters the most and reducing energy costs with our top-of-the-line automatic scheduling functions. Alert 360 offers security services discounts to military personnel, veterans, first responders, educators, and hospital personnel. Don't be a victim. Take a strong step today. Call Rosana Torres at 832-863-8574 for your free consultation.
You probably already know that first impressions are never forgotten. However, did you also know the way you feel about yourself contributes to your quality of life and the opinions of others? Hi, my name is Kristen Gunderson. My mission is to help people by flipping the switch inside their body, which in turn will help them to feel better and do more. In fact, once you feel your best, you will be able to pour into others, keep your cup full, and reach every goal you have set up for yourself, whether it's personal, family, or business related. The way you feel will dictate the way you think and the way you live your life. Feeling your best is necessary to achieve your goals. You deserve to put yourself first. Let me help you flip the switch so you can feel better and do more. Let's talk. I know I can help.
En esta era digital, las tarjetas de presentación de negocio son cosa del pasado. De hecho, la mayoría de las personas que las reciben las pierden en cuestión de minutos. La videotarjeta de negocios de Now Media es un video de su negocio especialmente creado por nuestros expertos con toda su información de contacto, los productos y servicios de su negocio y puede ser enviado de manera rápida utilizando su teléfono móvil. Cientos de negocios ya están viendo la diferencia. Llámenos hoy al 832-384-9588.
Bienvenidos a Legal Talk con Natalia, donde profundizaremos en el mundo del derecho y la mediación para empoderarte con conocimiento y comprensión. Nuestra meta es ayudarte sobre aspectos legales de diversas situaciones y guiarte a tomar decisiones informadas que puedan impactar positivamente tu vida. A lo largo de nuestros segmentos contaremos con expertos invitados, incluyendo abogados, mediadores y académicos, donde compartiremos sus perspectivas y responderemos a tus preguntas. Recuerda, el conocimiento es poder y juntos podemos cambiar vidas para mejorar y entender cómo funciona el derecho. Así que marca tu calendario, pon recordatorios y sé parte de nuestra comunidad informada. No olvides vernos cada miércoles a las 5 p.m. en Legal Talk con Natalia a través del canal 21.10 en Houston y en las redes sociales y plataformas digitales de Now Media Televisión.